All right, well, welcome everyone. My name is DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. And today we are going to be talking a little bit about the phases of product launches. But if this is the first time that you are hearing the sound of my voice, I'm just that chick that lost the same job twice, building a business from the comfort of my home. You heard me right. I did not stutter. I lost the same job twice. But that's a long story. I can remember like it was yesterday. It was January 10th, 2011. And I received an email that our company had ceased operation. And so, long story short, fast forward, and we were called back. And I think I opened up like 163 stores in 90 days. But anyway, this time around, something wasn't quite right about it. And I don't know if it was the fact that my daughter said to me, "Mommy, do you know you missed the first week of school 3 years in a row?" I was like, "What? No, that wasn't me, sweetie. No, Mommy, you missed the first week of school 3 years in a row." I said, "Oh my goodness, what?" And so, you and I both know kids only love school twice a year. And what's that? The beginning of the year and the second at the end, and the beginning of the first week of school and the last week of school, right? So I looked up and I said, "Look, we got to do something about it." So August 24th, 2011, I turned in my pink slip. And I turned in my pink slip and I went on leave of absence. I'm still on leave of absence. Hashtag longest leave ever, right? So fast forward to 2010, I wrote a business plan, received $30,000, $31,500 to be exact. I didn't even think I had a business plan. And I opened a shoe company called SassyShoeGallery.com. And this was before digital marketing and all of that. And so got kind of tired of that, but people started asking me like, DeKesha, how did you get the funding? How did you write the business plan? How did you know what to put in it? How did you, set up? How did you build relationships? And so I started consulting, hence Visions Consulting. And so here we are 7 years later. Yes, I am celebrating 7 years as a full-time entrepreneur. And so being on leave of absence, I only had about 2 years worth of income coming in, right? And so I remember the last check that I received, I absolutely had no clue how I was going to literally provide for my family. Like I had no clue how I was going to provide for my family. And so with people starting to, ask about how I was able to build, a business and how I was able to start an online shoe company. And what did it take to get the relationship with the vendors? I started to create a consulting agency. And so here's what I realized as I started to build an agency. I started to realize that you have to build a business and for a lack of another word, but people say that if you build it, they will come. Can we say negative? And so that's just not the reality. There's phases of building a business. And so I want to briefly go through the phases of building the business before we even talk about the launch. And the building the business is going to create the tribe that you need to have a successful launch. So stay tuned. So one of the first phases of building a business is the attraction phase, okay? Well, DeKesha, what does that mean? That means that you're in a position to get people to raise their hand and say, "I want to work with DeKesha. I want to work with you," right? And so oftentimes what I see is buy my product, work with me, come to my event, come to my workshop, that is not identifying what that person's pain points are. That is not an effective attraction model. So I want you to write this down. Hopefully you're taking notes. I want you to write this down. Position the problem, service the solution. If you position the problem and service the solution, I'll say it again, position the problem and service the solution. And so I want you to write that down. What does that really mean? Well, first you have to identify what really keeps them up at night. You have to identify what are their struggles. So you do have to get to know them, okay? And so when you identify what keeps them up at night, that's what you speak to. Because if I speak to your pain, if I speak to the fact that you're not generating revenue in your business, if I speak to the fact that you're struggling with processes in your business, if I speak to the fact that you've never had a 5-figure launch, you're going to say, she's talking to me. And that's what you want to do. You want to position the problem and then you service the solution. And it makes it actually easier to service the solution because you're not really selling them. You're solving a problem for them. So you're not selling them, you're solving a problem. So that's how you get the attraction mode. So once you get their attention, right, they're going to raise their hand. Once you get their attention, they're going to raise their hand. Well, when they raise their hand, what do I do, DeKesha? Well, you build a relationship. You engage with them. You have conversations with them. You find out a little bit more about them. And I love this because this is when you find out if they have children, if they have families, you know, if they still have a job. This is where you get to know your ideal client. And so you can speak like in your sales copy, in your Facebook copy, in your Facebook posts, in your social media posts, in your email marketing campaigns. Mind you, these are all strategies to engage. Yep, I just gave you some strategies to engage, okay? And so love on them, love on your tribe, love on your people. But when you are engaging in the conversation, make sure that you speak and give value to the problems that they have. All right. So attraction, engagement. Well, what's the next? Nurturing. For some reason, I love this part. I don't really know why, but I just love the nurturing. Maybe it's just the mother in me, the nurturing in me. But the nurturing is, again, enhancing and adding on to the relationship that you're establishing. And that's one of the reasons why I share my story. So earlier today, you heard me say that I'm just that chick that lost the same job twice, building a business from the comfort of my own home. But here's the thing. I still haven't told you what I do for a living. Isn't that crazy? I still haven't told you what I do for a living. I told you, I don't even think I told you my moniker or my title. You know my name, and that's about it, right? But I love the book, Simon Sinek, Start With Why. And one of the things, like the number one thing that Simon Sinek says in the book is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I felt that one for some reason. I'll say it again. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Does that make sense? And here's what I realized as I started to share value, as I started to build relationships, and as I started to engage. When I shared my story, I honestly started to build a relationship with other women and men who wanted to be home and be present for their family, whether it's children, wife, husband, mother, father. I've met so many people that are employeepreneurs who want to transition from the traditional 9 to 5 and build a business at home so that they can be more present for their family. But it matches my story. And so it builds a connection, which is a part of nurturing the relationship. How cool is that, right? So these are just some insider secrets. So the last piece of building the business is converting. You have to have sales in order to generate revenue in your business. And so when you share your story, or when you promote the problem and service the solution, excuse me. When you promote the problem and service the solution, it makes the transition into a sale more into a service. And as entrepreneurs, we oftentimes don't look at what we do as service because we put a price tag on it, right? Or because you pull out your credit card, or because you're processing a payment. You're still servicing the client. At the end of the day, you're still serving the client. And so when you're having that conversation, you do not have to come across as being salesy, because at the end of the day, they have a problem, you have a solution. I tell you what, let me help you solve this problem that you have, right? If you have a pain on the right side of your tooth or your mouth, right? And you are, I don't care where you are, but you meet a dentist, and they pretty much show you their credentials. They probably have on their smock. They're at lunch. You don't have a dentist, but it's throbbing, right? Like time for a root canal throbbing. And they give you their card. Do they have to sell you? Heck no. You know why? Because you have a problem right here. And it's painful enough that you're ready to make a decision to get that sucker pulled. I'm just saying. Okay? So attraction, engagement, nurturing, and conversion. This is how you build your business, you build your prospects, you build your relationships. All right? So how do you launch? Well, what is a launch? DeKesha, what are you talking about? So once I really figured out that there was phases to building a business in 2011, and people just were not going to come just because my name was DeKesha C. Williams, MBA. No, that it doesn't work. Trust me, that does not sell. So being a virtual COO, product launch expert and processes queen, it has allowed me to build a lifestyle business. How many of you, under the sound of my voice, want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur? Well, what does that mean? I'm so glad you asked. It means that you have built a business around the life that you desire to live, and you have not built a business or build a life around the business that you built. I'll say that again. I was able to build a business around the lifestyle that I desire to live, right? So if you guys don't know, so my son Jaden and my daughter Deja, a couple of years ago, but they both are super active in sports. And so being an entrepreneur and being able to schedule, or have a flexible schedule allows me to support them in all of their activities. And Jaden actually, he plays basketball and football. So every Saturday I'm on the football field. In the beginning of the years, you guys know basketball season. So actually, this is the first year that my daughter is competing collegiate gymnastics. And so I'm in the position where I'm transitioning from, working, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, maybe, give or take, to a 4-day work week. And that's because she'll be traveling. Some of her meets are Fridays, some of them are Sundays or Saturdays. The Sundays and Saturdays are not so bad as the Fridays. But I have my business, and I have a lifestyle business where if I decided that I wanted to work Monday through Thursday, I can. And so that is what the entrepreneurship has allowed me to do, and the services that I provide for my clients. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting, because how do you determine what services that you offer in your business, right? And it's so funny because I don't know if I'm the only one that goes through this. Do you go through this? You get tapped at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning I'd be like, Lord, can you call me at 6? Like, do you have to talk now? I mean, is it just me? But you always get that idea, right? Idea plus implementation equals income. And I want you to write that down. Idea plus implementation equals income. Idea plus implementation equals income. And understanding that business is about ideas, implementation, and income. Well, ideas are the concepts that arrive at random times. Ideas are the concepts that arrive at random times, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But I always keep a journal near my bed so I can write down the ideas, okay? Income. Well, implementation is the art of taking action to achieve a desired result or complete a task. So implementation is the art of taking action to complete a task. Idea plus implementation equals income. Concepts that come or arrive at random times with action generates income. Ooh, I like that. Concepts that come at random times in which you take action generates income. Did y'all get that? Did you write that down? I hope y'all wrote that down. I'm gonna have to write that down myself. Income. So stop working in your business and work on your business. You did not create a business to create a job for yourself. How many of you are familiar with Drew Houston? Drew Houston. Who is Drew Houston? Drew Houston had an idea to store and back up data online. Have you heard of Dropbox? Idea, implementation, and you know Dropbox is generating income. Same thing with Donald Katz. Donald Katz had an idea to create the first portable digital product. One of my absolute favorite products, Audible. Audible. I listen to books all day, every day, right? And so idea, implementation equals income. So here is the thing. Because I have generated products that can launch on automation, I'm able to focus on these 3 things to continue to grow and scale my business. This is what I do every day in my business, right? I create content. Me recording this video or me teaching this training, me going live, creating content. Me servicing my clients every single day, well, you have to pay the bills, okay? But I pride myself because I learn something new every single day. Every single day. And actually today, I was setting up a Facebook ad for a product launch. And so we identified that they're doing something. They always change. You already know Facebook is always doing something different. So their ads process, they've got some new features for running ads. We're doing a conversion pixel on ads, so just a whole bunch of things. However, I was excited because I learned something new, right? So this is what product development and automation has allowed me to do in my business. And so, well, what is implementation, or how do you implement? Well, for me, because I was in a position where I had 2 young children at the time, flying and speaking at 4 and 5 engagements every month was just not realistic for my family. So I decided that I was going to use digital events. For 4.5 years, I studied a particular software technology to help me grow my business. What is a digital event? A digital event is an online platform that allows you to teach, train, and educate online. And so it allows you to open up your market. It allows you to open up your market. So let's talk about the phases of digital events and launching digital events. You ready? Take notes. Okay, so you have your planning phase. This is where you map out the strategy and the tactics of your successful launch. So you're going to determine the tools and the technology that you will need to get the task done. What team members will you need to help you get the task done? What's your budget? what's your goal? How many people do you want to enroll in your particular program? How many people do you want to enroll in your products? How many people do you want to show up at your next event? That is all in the planning phase. Then you have your pre-launch phase. So what's pre-launch? Pre-launch is where you actually start to implement the strategies that you decided in the planning phase. So you start building out the infrastructure, building out the email sequences, building out the platform that you're going to use to share your message, right? If you are launching it or you are doing workshops involved with, you start booking your locations and things like that. Start scheduling the dates for your online trainings. Start scheduling when your cart is going to open up. Create a sales page so that you can, I'm giving you all of the goodies, right? But it's so much that takes place in the pre-launch phase. And you literally have to make sure that everything is set up in your pre-launch phase, okay? Then we go into the launch phase. Oh, this is where it's fun. Like, this is where all of the hard work from planning and pre-launch, this is go live. This is when you hit the button and you share with everyone, hey, I've got this phenomenal event. I've got this phenomenal program. I've got a phenomenal product. I'm starting coaching, one-on-one, group coaching, mentorship, mastermind. I don't care what you offer. But this is where you go live and you start to offer your product to the masses or to your ideal clients. And we call this a launch phase. Now, when you're really ready to generate some revenue, you want to focus on the post-launch phase. And in the post-launch phase, it's very important to have the systems set up. You know, I'm a systems queen, so it's all about sales systems. And so you're having your sales systems in place is truly, truly important. And with that being said, there should be specific sequences set up where you can actually capture the sale after the launch is, like your cart is closed. So you may close the cart on a specific day, but you may still have conversations. You may still have people that are interested, or for whatever reason, they were not able to purchase that particular program. But hey, they still want to work with you. I've had people tell me, look, I don't want a program. I just want to work with you. And listen, it happens. And so having a post-launch strategy so you don't leave money on the table is super important. And you can actually generate double the revenue in the launch if you do your post-launch right. So webinars for me is one of the key components to a killer launch. And so webinars are also known as masterclass now. And so there's several different platforms that you can use to launch or to host your webinars. I particularly like to use a platform that I can automate the webinar because I like to be able to generate revenue on the go. I like to make what they call passive money. I call it sideline money. Usually I have my watch on, and so when I'm on the sideline and I get a notification that I'm a new client or someone has signed up, right? So I typically like to use webinars that you can automate for that particular reason. So webinars is a key component to a killer launch. And with webinars, we were able to generate $15,000 in 21 days on one of our first launch. And actually our last launch, we did a 5-figure launch in 7 days. And so that particular launch, we hosted a challenge, we did a masterclass, we opened up the cart, we offered it. And I think only like 64 people participated in the challenge, which is not a lot of people. And we still ended up closing a 5-figure launch. And so I'm excited because at this point, entrepreneurs are so focused on generating 6 figures in their business when they actually haven't even generated 5 figures in your business. So what if you could launch a 5-figure launch repeatedly until you generated 6 figures. So what if you could launch a 5-figure launch every 75 days and hit $100,000? What if you strive to achieve 5 figures to ultimately get to the 6 figures? So stop reaching for the 6 figures, reach for the 5 figures. And ultimately, if you keep perfecting it, you will hit 6 figures. Like, it's non-negotiable, right? So why does it work? Because I've done it. Like, I pride myself on the fact that I don't teach theory. I teach what we have done for myself or my clients. One of our participants, it's so funny, I'm going to share this before I let you go. One of our participants in our most recent class has done Facebook live streams, and I'm an advocate of Facebook Live because it creates exposure for your brand. So, you know, if you do lives, fantastic. IG, YouTube, all of it. It's great for exposure in your business. But she'd always went live 10 o'clock every night, pretty decent sized audience, but she was not monetizing the platform. She was one of the first individuals in our class that did her first webinar. And so even though she had some technical difficulty, at the end of the webinar, she still closed 8 people. And the last time we followed up with Crystal had closed over 16 people in her program for the very first time, very first webinar. That's why it works. And so if you're someone that is looking to actually launch or have your first 5-figure launch, and I want you to text the word launch to 804-298-2846. I want you to text the word launch to 804-298-2846. And we can have a conversation about your first 5-figure launch. So listen, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. My name is DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. Be purposeful, be passionate, but more importantly, be profitable. I'm signing off.